Today I'm going to be taking a look at this 4 LED 5.5 watt Philips LED retrofit lamp. So this is, like I said, 5.5 watt. It's designed for 12 volt AC because that's what the halogen downlights run their lamps on with switch mode power supplies. It's a 36 degree beam angle lamp. And yeah, 5.5 watt, 2700K, and around about 390 lumens is quoted for this lamp. So at 5.5 watt, each of these LEDs will be running at nearly 1.5 watts, which is reasonably high power. They seem to be reasonably big LEDs as well. And also, this does have a heatsink as well, which, as you can see, is one of the kind of pass-through types. So the air can work its way up, sort of through convection, up through the heatsink, and as you can see there's some sort of metal which is visible there, which is going to be the heatsink for this lamp. Now obviously the heatsink on this doesn't actually appear to be all that big, but of course it's better to have a heatsink where the air flows well rather than have one with massive fins which doesn't work properly. So this lamp is £6.98 from Toolstation here, as you can see, and there are two lamps they have for £6.98. The 5 watt ones with I think 7 LEDs in them, and then these lamps which are the 4 LEDs and the 5.5 watts with the slightly increased luminous output of 390 lumens as opposed to 353. However, I've not noticed very much of a difference at all. So now I'm in the downstairs toilet, and the LED sort of on my left here is one of the 4 LED 390 lumen ones, whereas the one at the back there is one of the 353 lumen LED lamps. So kind of the old style. And if you can look at the floor here, you can see there isn't actually a great deal of difference in brightness between the 390 lumen one and the 353 lumen one, so they're both pretty good. And what I would also say is that the sort of colour rendering is also pretty good as well. The sort of the yellows there and the bluey green all coming out quite well. Although despite the lamps looking fairly much similar, it's also nice to have a bit of consistency as well. So generally parts of the house now have sort of one type of lamp or the other, so each zone, if you like, has the same lamps fitted throughout rather than separate ones. And just as on the topic of the colour rendering spectrum, it's a typical sort of AT CRI LED lamp with a blue peak, because their blue pump uses a blue pump phosphor design where the LEDs actually emit violet light, which then go on the phosphor, which is why the lamp looks kind of yellow there, because that's the phosphor that converts the violet into kind of the lower frequency light colour, so red, yellow, orange, green, to then give the overall white spectrum when combined with the violet. And I mean, finally, just to cover very quickly the brightness aspect of it, these are only 390 lumens rated, whereas a very good quality 35 watt halogen reflector lamp can be about 500 lumens. But in practice, I've found that the LED very much does replace the halogen reflector lamps quite well. In fact, with half the room using the LED lamps and half the room using the halogen lamps, the brightness difference was very hard to tell actually, which could be for a number of reasons. But I mean, like I said, this house is now pretty much entirely LED, which a few years ago I'd be very, very surprised to say. And also, despite having, I think, close to 100 LED lamps in this place, some of which, probably 20 of which, have been there for probably a year and a half, 2 years now, we have zero failures at all, and none of them have gone off colour or notably depreciated in brightness either. In fact, when I say notably depreciated, I have actually been looking at light level measurements for the rooms, and yeah, the light levels haven't fallen, and those 20 or so lamps that were fitted the first, they run pretty long hours, so they might do 15 hours plus a day, every day. So, you know, in a year and a half, they have knocked up a few thousand hours by now and are still working brilliantly. So, all in all, pretty good. So I guess the conclusion of this video is these Philips LED lamps, whether it's the 4 LED version that I've shown here, or the version with the slightly more LEDs that I've shown in a previous video, they perform very well, really. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video, which will probably not be in this room because I'll probably be back up north again.